All right. Corey and Joe with you for episode 10. I was right. Last week it was 9.
Was it? Did we say it was 8 or 9?
We said it was like 9.2.
Okay. I feel like we
We
should just
hedged
make
our
up
bets.
random numbers.
And then we really should at this point.
Just episode 27.
Then you could just view them in publishing date order. Episode 7 to 93 to 14.
Yes.
All right. So, still hoping that you guys will post some comments and let us know what you want to talk about.
Yeah, if you don't
So,
tell us, we just talk
Right now,
about
this
what we
is
want
just a
to.
recorded therapy session, I think, for us.
Yeah. I think this one will be better.
We'll see.
So definitely comment. Tell us what you want us to talk about. Go over, discuss,
Or just whine in
explain.
class and we'll complain about you.
Yeah, we'll call you out.
23.1 week. So, the first open workout was announced. It was a repeat. After no repeats last year, they brought it back.
Well, go ahead. Finish your train of thought, and then I'll ask.
I would just simply say I love this workout. I've always loved this workout. Guy I respect, Justin Kotler, out of Underdogs, thinks this is the greatest open workout that's ever been programmed. I don't know that I'd be that effusive, but I do really love this workout. If you're watching this and somehow don't know what it is, which why you're watching us, then begs the question. But 14-minute AMRAP 60 cal row, 50 toes to bar, 40 wall ball shots, 30 cleans at 135.95, 20 ring muscle ups. If you get all the way through that, you start back at the row.
Back to the rower.
It
was weird how they announced
somebody. Well, what was it? I don't know if Pat Vellner ended up getting the top score, but he's got 304 reps right now. I don't know if he beat Dukic. I don't know what he got on the announcement.
So last time I looked, there was a guy, and I don't know who this guy was. So it's interesting.
Probably
he had like
score.
Right, and that was what it was. It's like, well, I don't know if that's what it was, but I saw like almost 2 full rounds, which is wild. And again, like
I'm gonna go ahead and say that was it'll be an invalid score.
Yeah, maybe like maybe a fluke there, maybe a misentered score, an incorrectly entered score. But yeah, dude. So seeing people get back to the toes to bar was like,
I mean, we only had one person get back to the rower.
Yeah.
And that was freaking incredible.
Yeah. He's a fit boy.
Very fit boy.
Fit boy. So what I was going to say is I was very surprised that the first workout they announced was a repeat, which I was like, oh, okay, that's part of a lot. But more than anything, I was very surprised that the first workout had ring muscle ups in it. I did not see that coming.
So I wasn't, but I know why you were, and I know why people will complain about it. But I love it because it's ring muscle ups happen exactly where they should in an open workout.
Yeah.
We would love you to have only, a minute or so under less fatigue in ideal conditions to try to get your first.
But you had to earn your way there.
It is a test.
Yeah. No.
It is a test, and if you were doing this RX and you were close to the ring muscle ups, were there a couple of bad fails that I saw in our testing? Yes. No one got hurt. We did have a guy that wasn't from our gym tweak his shoulder a little bit on warm up.
Yeah, I asked him how he was feeling when he left, and he was like, "Oh, I feel great."
Yeah, he's fine. I think that was more he wasn't really committed to doing it, and it was enough of a twinge for him to be like, "Oh, yeah, I can't do this."
I was impressed with it though.
Yeah, and he did it, but so I understand people's argument about it. The opens for all. How are you going to say the opens for all and then put ring muscle ups in it? I'll just straight up say, come to our class, we're going to program ring muscle ups.
We have ring muscle ups. And we had this workout.
We had this workout. I'm sorry if you go to a CrossFit gym that tells you that you never need to do ring muscle ups. You don't go to a CrossFit gym.
You go to a gym.
Yeah, and that's fine, and that's what you do. But this is our sport. This is what we do. You need to do the things that our sport does, and if you don't, you need to be working on the skills to get them.
Well, and
I don't feel sorry for you if you don't have a ring muscle up.
It's
a test.
Well, and
like nobody nobody changed the geometry test because you didn't know the Pythagorean theorem, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is our sport. This is what we do.
Isn't it a squared plus b squared is c squared? I think that's what it is.
That might be it.
Comment if I'm right, and subscribe. I'm gonna say it later too.
There you go.
Yeah, and again, like, in order to get to the rings, because again, there's
You
the
had
argument.
to be the fittest. You had to overscale, and if you overscaled, then you didn't have the rings as an option.
Right.
So in order to get to the rings, you have to be
You have to
among
have,
the top. Let's be generous here. 5% fit people in the world
yeah, well, yeah, to get to the rings,
to get to the rings.
and
All
like
right.
we had some people that got to the rings that didn't have a ring muscle up. They're working on it, and now I think like seeing how quickly they came up, maybe working on those ring muscle ups is a little bit more of a priority now, which is great because like you said,
Great.
this
It
is
makes
part
it
of the
easier for us
sport.
to coach.
And now like the other kind of question in my mind is, so since they came up in the open, do you think quarters will have ring muscle ups too?
I do.
I would kind of like to. Again, they went horribly wrong for me apparently.
I still think it would be really fun for the open for the first time for them to have two movements, like a repeat movement. Like, so ring muscle ups are in a
So
second
like
workout.
maybe 23-3 is also
ring muscle ups.
What if they
or anything, right? You're gonna go 3 weeks between movements. What rule is there that needs to be a thing?
There's no rule. There's no rule. And
in a quarterfinal, right, you can't repeat movements. You got to basically come from a blank slate.
right.
But during the open, why can't you repeat a movement? Again, this idea, we rode on Thursday, rode on Friday. I'm gonna row today. I'm gonna retest tomorrow, right?
There's rowing tomorrow.
Again, this theory that you can't do the same movement, it's just stupid.
Yeah,
this isn't bodybuilding.
And like okay, you probably wouldn't want to do, we'll say, deadlifts, heavy deadlifts, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, but doing rowing, 2 days in a row, 3 days in a row, like I don't
want to say that it should be ring muscle ups. It should be repeated, but why not? Why not toast
or rowing?
Because you can sit there and say that we're testing. Do you have hand durability? And I'll just simply say, like, somebody like, and sorry for name calling you here, but Piper, she's gonna be screwed if we do anything on the pull-up bar this week.
Yeah,
she destroyed her hands.
Her hands are pretty wrecked.
But again, that's also the nature of our sport is durability.
Yep. And
so why can't we test that?
Well, and like that was kind of part of the thing I noticed is Mel asked if I was gonna retest, and I was like, it depends. Like right now, the way things are feeling, I don't think I should. I don't think it would be a responsible idea for me to. I could wake up tomorrow or later this afternoon and things would be okay. My shoulders feel kind of crunchy. I don't know.
So I feel better. My back's still a little tight. I got an adjustment on Friday for the first time in probably 4 years. And
did you go to the booth?
Yeah. And that spasmed up some things. They didn't do anything wrong. It's just you haven't done something for a while. You go to a massage, get a massage, they're going to tell you you're going to be sore. Especially if you haven't had one for a while.
Or like you ever go to like a yoga class randomly and you're like, I do CrossFit. Why am I?
So this isn't a bad thing that I'm talking about. I'm sore, but I'm sore in a new way, and who knows when it'll go away and when I'll feel up to it again. My hands are in perfect condition, no issues there. My shoulder,
I have a weird
because I didn't get to the ring muscle ups.
I don't know what that's from.
I had a red line across my chest for like all day.
That's weird.
It must have caught the clean.
Yeah, they maybe catching a clean real aggressive like.
I didn't do a ring muscle up, so I didn't tweak my shoulder. I mean, my shoulder's still not good. But it's not from a repeat thing. So I don't really have any reason to not retest at this moment. We'll see how I feel tomorrow morning. I got lots of sleep yesterday, over the weekend.
We hold in the pants.
Trying to shake a sickness. So right now, I still plan to retest. I'm gonna see where some scores are at in my division.
See kind of where you're at on the board.
Yeah, and see if. And I know a lot of scores are gonna pour in late Monday. I don't think it's as much gaming in Masters division as it is the other ones. I think.
I look forward to that next year.
Yeah, so I'll kind of just see where the scores are at and see how much I think it matters.
So,
because let's just, does the score I want even put me where it needs to be? Because I may be completely underestimating how good master scores are.
Right.
And so even if I get my PR of all time on this workout, does it put me where I need to be?
Right.
Or if it doesn't, then now I'm just serving a vanity project, not a qualification project.
Right.
And I won't retest.
So
if part of me kind of hopes I go on there and see the scores are too.
So jumping back, I know. So with your first attempt at 23-1, you did it what, Friday? Friday, yeah. So you did it Friday. I know you didn't get the score you wanted. So I did it yesterday. I too did not get the score I wanted. So that, I guess, if you came in to the 9 a.m. class and you came in a little bit early, you might have seen me. I think I kicked a cone on my way out of the door. I walked around. I was pretty bummed out. Now, that being said, right after a workout, emotions are high. So I did take a little bit of time and kind of, I guess, get my mind right on it.
Yeah.
I still did well, and I guess one of the things I kind of, like we were talking about before we started this, was one of the things I did like was up until the ring muscle ups, I felt great, which is not the case last time I did it. So even though I didn't get the score I wanted, I still did better than I did last time. And I noticed like a lot of the holes in my game. So I know last time I did this, the cleans, I remember very vividly, destroyed me. And this time, I felt great going onto the ring. So I had to kind of take a step back and look at it as like, okay, I didn't get where I wanted to, but I still clearly am fitter than I was, 2 years ago when I tested this. Yeah. So like, I know there were a couple other people that said they didn't really get the scores they wanted. And the big thing was like, okay, did you not get the score you wanted because you crapped the bed, like something went horribly wrong, or did you not get the score you wanted because you just had I had high expectations for this workout? So I guess my question to you is like, what are you going to say to anyone who didn't really get the score that they wanted?
Yeah. So what we're talking about is we both want to talk about how to handle disappointment. Yes, in the lens of an open workout, but I think just generally disappointment in terms of fitness. And I think this could go, period. We were both one rep away from what we had said that we wanted, thought was reasonable to achieve. And so kind of how to handle that. We're both pretty disappointed. So one thing I just want to point out on Corey's is what he's talking about is, right, there's so many different areas to improve in CrossFit. You can improve simultaneously at all of them, no matter, again, depending on how short our window that we're looking at, right? If we're looking at a year, yes, you can simultaneously improve everything because it's over a year. Right. A day, no. Right? And so Corey got fitter, but he took a step back on ring muscle ups right now. The cleans went better. Overall, the entire workout went better. Set a PR. But when I think as a high level athlete, you're never okay with regressing in any area, even if 5 other areas improved and only 1 regressed. It's hard to stomach. And that's not the lens where I'm coming from right now with my disappointment, so it's hard for me to speak on. But I think that gives a little bit more, because like when I hear Corey's disappointed, right, I hear I just got a PR, right?
Yeah.
Everything went better and only one thing went worse. Why in the world is he disappointed? But disappointment is not for you to tell me I should or shouldn't be. Disappointment is an internal thing, and if I'm disappointed, I'm disappointed. I don't need you to validate that.
Right.
And so I'm just trying to lend a little bit more to why a person would be disappointed when you may have only heard the words that he said, PR, best I've ever done, right?
And like going back, like after I had a little time to cool off, like this should have been something I saw coming.
And so I think, well, and I also think this Your disappointment comes down to expectation management a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Your expectations exceeded your performance, but your performance improved over all previous known performances, right?
Yeah.
And
it's like I have, so before we'll say early CrossFit, like my conditioning and my gymnastics were my two, so I had these peaks, conditioning, gymnastics, like that. I was way up here with it. I was great, and I was lighter.
Mm-hmm.
But then like any barbell movements, especially like Olympic lifts, wall balls, and these deep valleys. So what's kind of happened is things have smoothed out, and I've been working on those Olympic lifts a lot. I've been working on wall balls and thrusters because those are any squatting movement. I hate any squatting movement. So I've been working on that. So I haven't spent as much time on my gymnastics, which like in the toes to bar went great. So it's just one of those things of like, again, I shouldn't be. And once I got a little chance to think about it, like I'm not as disappointed.
Well, and I think also, like, let's actually talk about the last rep, right? I think if you descend from the rings under control, we're not talking about disappointment anymore. We're talking about I exactly met my goal. So Corey, he was at 18.
Yep.
And he was going to get his last two. There's enough time on the clock. There's 15 seconds or so. He gets to the 19th. It's a struggle. His triceps are going out. He drops down. And when he does, the rings get twisted. He went to settle them. Didn't settle them. Made him a little bit more aggressive. And then basically just kind of stood there and looked at the rings for the last 4 seconds. Yeah. So that, of all the things,
of all the ways,
if we just descend off those rings, or if your grip doesn't slide and you can try for that 20th, even if you miss it,
even if I had the opportunity to
didn't get to try,
yeah, that's what was. That was the kind of hard part of it.
Yeah,
was not getting up there and failing it and being like, dude, that was all I had. It was just not being able to try to get up there. Yeah. And I told her like, well, I guess, which is kind of, what else do you have on this? Because I got a great segue.
Oh, okay. I got a great segue. For me, right, my disappointment, I was 5 reps from a PR. I've previously done this 2 years ago. Was the last time I did it. Got 5 ring muscle ups. I'll throw out the condition there. I didn't have a judge. Could I have miscounted? Absolutely. Do I think I did? No. I was working out with 3 other people there. I was in better shape then, not tremendously better, but I didn't have the shoulder injury. So again, 5 reps for my PR, right? In a situation where honestly, I've been sick. I told Corey on Thursday night, I was like, listen, if I wake up Friday and I'm green, I'm doing the workout. I woke up Friday and I was green. Why? Because my kids didn't have school and I got to sleep an extra 2 hours. So I actually didn't feel better. I just got more sleep. I knew when I woke up, I texted Corey and I was like, I'm green, but I really don't want to do this.
But I don't feel good at all.
But I made it. Sometimes I do this to myself. I make a non-negotiable where I don't allow my feelings, because I will convince myself of something. So I have to be like, the data says this, because I'll be my own worst enemy with feelings. And I use that data, honestly, like if I have a big training day and I'll just be like, if I'm red, I don't get to do it. And it's not so much the action of it being red, it's that I care enough that now I'm going to not have that beer. I'm going to go to bed early. I'm going to eat a little bit bigger meal, right? Because I don't want to be red, because I look forward to this. So I use data to control my actions.
So it helps you outside
to the extent I can. Yeah. This time, it just didn't work. And I knew better, and I knew I wasn't actually negotiating with myself, but I just didn't feel good. Yeah. Go through the workout, haven't ate enough. My timeline's all off because I slept 2 hours later. I didn't come in, didn't do the things I normally do in the order I do them, which does matter when it comes down to a test like this, when you're already not great. I was hungry all the way through it. There was no energy in here. It was Corey judging me, and Madison was on the runner. and we can talk about this later, but Corey and I both said we would love to be able to participate in Friday Night Lights.
Yeah.
I think if I had to do it again, I would find a way to just go in the first heat on Friday.
Yeah.
And that's when I would have done it. I would have had lunch. I went home, had a nap. Do I get a ring muscle up then? I don't know. I think I got a better shot.
Yeah.
I think the energy and the environment is worth at least a couple of reps.
100%.
Cooper got 15 more reps in 2 weeks. He didn't get any fitter.
No, he didn't get fitter.
And again, I love you, Cooper, but that was energy.
And
that was the fact it was a test. That was the fact that it was going on a global leaderboard.
I'll even say, we'll say an extra 5 of his 15 might have come from smarter transitions or smarter sets, but the energy in the gym Friday night, like there's no
and
matching
the fact
that.
that it's a global test and you're putting your name up for everybody to see.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's all the things. It's all the reasons we told you to do Friday Night Lights. It's all the reasons we told you to do the Open, and it's the proof, literally right there, in without a doubt one of our top 2 or 3 fittest athletes, if not the overall fittest.
I would say yes,
depending on the workout. You give him a run for his money, but for the most part, he's the fittest athlete.
He's gonna 8 out of 10 times,
almost 10%.
That's
almost a 10% improvement in 2 weeks. And you're telling me the energy and the fact that it's a test doesn't matter? Get out of here. Get out of here. Like, I'm sorry, you're wrong. I'm right. It's proven. Like, do what you got to do. Tell yourself what you got to tell yourself. But I'm right.
Yeah.
So, yes, I wish I would have done it on Friday Night Lights. I think I would have gotten that rep. Hell, I even had 14 seconds. And I didn't even go to the rings.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that's going to eat at me, but I also knew I tried to quit 2 cleans in. I went like this, and Corey kind of like laughed at me or said something and was like, "You can't be serious," or like looked at me like I was an idiot.
Yeah. And
I ended up finishing the cleans.
You did.
It was a terrible performance until probably the last 10 when I decided I cared. And
the last 10, you did it.
It looked like I actually cared again. So I'm disappointed. I didn't my PR. I knew better. I want to test Monday. I want to get the ring muscle up. Is what it is. In terms of handling disappointment from my perspective, right? I didn't earn it. I didn't deserve to PR. I didn't deserve to even be near my PR, honestly. Like, my last 6 months of training has been awful. I've been hurt. I've been unmotivated. I've been depressed. I stopped tracking my food. I've been drinking a little too much. I've been trying to get back on the bandwagon for that. Winter is a hard time. Winter with an injury is a terrible time. And winter with an injury, the way that the gym membership was going for Q4, it was a really hard time. And so, everything's gone back up 23. I've switched some things and, things are going back in a positive direction, but they haven't had a time to take effect for me personally as an athlete. I had to prioritize running the gym, and, getting some admin things done, taken care of, getting my L2 revalidated or CPR certifications, CrossFit renewal, insurance, which is still a headache for some of our competitions. And listen, everybody has their workload stuff outside of it. This isn't a woe is me. But I think most people that have full-time jobs also don't have the same athlete aspirations that I have.
Yeah, like you maybe have higher expectations for your performance in here.
For my performance and my goals. Because at the end of the day, being an athlete is part of my job. For me. It's not for every affiliate owner, but for me, being an athlete is part of my job. And that, unfortunately, has had to take a back seat. Also, I don't have a training partner. I haven't had a consistent training partner since I opened the gym.
It's my fault. I'm not consistent.
It's not Corey's fault. Our schedules don't line up really well. I would even say our interests on the things we want to do.
You don't think so?
And also, as training partners, we fuck around a lot.
We do talk
it's really hard to be efficient because we just enjoy each other's company.
You do like hanging out.
So I don't know how to solve it. We've talked about some things. I don't know. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I don't know if I need to switch programming to be on other people's stuff. There's what I would tell literally anybody else, and that is do class more. And maybe that's what I need to do. The way that I would have to do class doesn't really fit into a competitive training schedule, though. So that's the rub. But anyways, this is more about me and not about you, which is not what I want. But those are the things that are going on in my head. So yeah, I'm disappointed. But for me, how I'm handling the disappointment is criticism of myself and the choices I've made. I'm not telling you this is a healthy way to handle disappointment. But I come from if I got to do dream jobs and stuff like that, I would be a consultant. So I would look at something the way it went, and I'd find ways to improve it. I'd find all the holes. This is what was wrong. This is what was wrong. Fix this. Do this. So that's the way I look at it. And I know we can get into negative self-talk and all that other stuff, but it's not negative self-talk. It's just an honest feedback form, right?
Where can I improve?
I'm not telling you that I'm worthless because of this. I'm trying to stay clear of justifying the reasons why I was there. I'm just acknowledging like this had to be a priority for me. This had to take a back seat. Realizing that and then giving myself some grace because I did the thing I had to do, which it caused a ripple effect someplace else. That doesn't mean that I made the wrong decision. And it doesn't mean I wouldn't make that decision again. But it just allows for a little bit of grace when I didn't have it immediately following the workout.
It would be hard to be, I guess, to train and to be an athlete if you lost the gym. So yeah, priorities had to be where they're at.
Yeah.
Well, I told her, I think I heard it on a podcast, like after training sessions, one thing that wouldn't be a terrible idea to get in the habit of is like one good, one bad. Yeah. I think it was one of the Dog Pound, the Underdogs podcast. I think it was on that. It was looking at the training session and giving yourself, okay, what is one thing that went well and what is one thing that I could improve on? That way you don't get into that only what can I do better, but it's like both.
And I got this from Chris Spieler, and we do this with our kids most nights for dinner, and we play good, bad, Buffalo. So you tell me something good about your day,
okay,
something bad about your day, and then something Buffalo about your day, just something random.
Okay.
And so it gets you to scan the world and scan the events for good and bad. And I think especially younger, there's value in discussing the bad. It's a way to like have conversations with them. For our family, it's gone into my son literally just says the same 3 things about his video game every day. And so I'm really just like, they're not scanning, they're on autopilot for it. So we're trying to rework it in our thing. And that would be what I'd condition you against is don't autopilot. Don't just do it to do it. If anything, if you're going to do it, do it.
Well, you got to be intentional about it, or it doesn't help.
Be intentional. It doesn't have to be right that instant, right after the workout's done, but do something else. I do think that you should look for the good and the bad in the world. Obviously spend more time on the good, and with the bad, I would even say use it to try to create an action plan.
Yeah, say it needs to have like it needs to be.
You just acknowledge that.
Yeah, you need to have. So like for my whole thing, like the good on my Toza bar. My Toza bar went really well. I had an idea. I knew how many sets I wanted to do. It went great. The bad, obviously, the ring muscle ups. I know the way to solve that is A, use more of a kip out of the dip because I blew myself up, and B, maybe start with smaller sets. That's probably a good idea. Also working on like my pressing strength. For those that know me, especially you, I hate push-ups, hate bench press. And that clearly has an effect on...
I mean, you did. Well, at least I've seen you working on it.
I've been working on it.
And that's why I don't want to say adamant, it's the wrong word, but I'm both thrilled at the idea of training with you and also don't want you to switch your training because you have followed this program.
Yeah.
And following any program is better than
chaos.
Yeah. There is no great program I've said it before, but a great program is the program you follow.
Well, it's like a diet.
Yeah.
The best diet's the one you're going to stick to.
Yeah. And so if you're constantly switching back and forth, again, while I love the company, I'd also, as a coach, as a person that wants somebody to achieve what they're capable of achieving, you found something that works for you. Mm-hmm. To be selfish would be being selfish. So yeah, I don't know if that helped you guys figure out how to process your disappointment, or if
I think we got something out of it.
Go through therapy, like we said. Hopefully you guys learned some valuable stuff there. And I would just say, like, even like when I recorded my notes, obviously I'm hard on myself. I put 180 reps like a soft ass bitch. And then Mel was like, hey, now that's my goal. And it's like, well, yeah, but that wasn't my goal.
Right.
And like, I'm not insulting you and your goals. And I'm, and I get how I can come off a little dismissive, but like, I do this full time.
Well, and
I've had ring muscle ups for a really long time.
Well, that's the thing is, like,
hasn't gotten a ring muscle up yet.
Right, like you knew that your goal could have been, or that you could have gone further.
And I know 6 months ago, me is trying to get 10 ring muscle ups. And again, it's that deterioration. And I'll just be full fledged open here. Is it deterioration? Because I'm not training, which is yes. But is it also just because I'm old? And that is one thing that has really been messing with my head.
Hard to
is
swallow.
I know nothing magic happened when I was 40, when I turned 40. I know it. I know nothing magic happened. But I won't sit here and tell you that I'm not
thinking about
it and telling you that that's why all of a sudden I can't do some things and why and this and that and woe is me and it's in there.
It's easy to get into that mindset.
I need some wins. I need some wins.
Yeah.
To get it off. And maybe the ring muscle up was my win. If I got it, I know I can still do ring muscle ups. I could get up there and do one right now. I'm not going to because I want one and I want it tomorrow.
So you better save
and
that
I want
for
it
tomorrow.
at 13:45. So I'm not going to do it. But I know that it's nothing magic happened at 40. I just had a bad shoulder injury and it's snowballed and I got to get out of it. I'm not out of it right now. I'm going to keep working on it. I'll even go back to last February at the Open, just getting sick. And that was when I was 39. And it's been a rough year. It's been a rough year. There's I rebounded for a little bit and I would say I was in the best shape of my entire life in September, during football season. I was really happy with everything. I had still a twinge in my shoulder, but it was
less.
I hadn't done the re-injury yet. And I did the re-injury a couple weeks later. And that's really, and I was thinking about this before we did the videos. It's like, I can't do the things I love, so it's hard to do the things I know I need to do.
Yeah.
I'm not up on the bar. I'm not doing the gymnastics fun things. I really don't want to work on handstands, but I told myself it was a goal to get a handstand walk, and I can't even do that. So, like, I don't want to do the capacity training.
Yeah.
I don't want to do the mobility. And I know that it's by not doing it, it's making me worse. And I could have been getting better while still working around an injured shoulder, but I couldn't do the things that I really love doing. So I didn't want to do the things I had to do. Well, I should have done.
I think as far as like competitive athletes go, you have to give yourself the carrot here and there.
Yeah.
Like for me, like working on all my pressing, the reason I've done it is because the way the program I followed goes, I think they want me to do it first, but that is like my last priority. Even it's there. I know I need to work on it the first thing, but I'm going to do the fun stuff I want to do first, and then I'll do that. So yeah,
I'm the same way. I do my gymnastics stuff first in the morning.
Right.
One, it's easier when you're fresh and your muscles aren't fatigued, and that's the way they honestly recommend it.
Yeah.
But two, it's stuff I look forward to. Hey, it's cool being the calisthenic guy that creates shapes or does the L-sit with the one arm hang and the one arm press.
Yeah, that was really terrible.
How do you even do that? And it's like, well, it's just about leverage. It's no different than anything else, but I'm the only one in the gym doing it. Yep. And it's pretty cool. I'm not the only one that can do it. I'm just the only one that's doing it right now. And it's fun to be that guy. I'm not going to be confused with a dude that lifts a huge amount of weight. I get it. But I can be the guy that gets in
The gymnastics
some,
scene guy.
some cool positions and has some fun. Yeah. So I think that's the end of this overly long video that we meant to be shorter because we didn't have anything to talk about.
Yeah. That's okay. We always find something to talk about. That's why we don't train well together.
Again, it's like I said, it's exactly like therapy. When I had my therapist, who I've talked about, I'd go and I'm like, I'm feeling good. I don't even know what we're going to talk about. And then it's like, boom, your hour's up. I was like, damn, I didn't shut up the whole time.
It's just easy to find things to talk about.
When you're with people that it comes naturally to it comes out. So
it just works.
All right. Hopefully it was helpful. Please let us know things you want us to talk about. One last thing I wanted to say is Friday Night Lights was absolutely everything.
Yeah, it was dope.
I wanted it to be. I know there was some, hemming and hawing about what we were doing, why we were doing it. And last year, it was more about drinking and less about working out.
Well, and supporting each other.
And I will say that we didn't quite have the viewing area that I wanted. Because of the requirements for how far things had to be away from the rig and the way things had to be set up. I'm hoping for a better viewing area this next Friday. Just because I'm super thrilled with it does not mean I'm not critical about some of the things I set up and the way I did it. Like I said, that's just who I am. I'm going to criticize and improve. But I just thought it was absolutely awesome.
It was great.
Exactly what we wanted. I'd love if more people dressed up this week. I'd love if more people brought snacks, as it was me and my wife and Riley.
Riley brought Oreos. Yeah. I got a bone to pick with her. You know how hard it is to not eat all those Oreos?
Yeah, because I've eaten a lot of those Oreos.
Riley, if you watch this,
bring more Oreos.
Watch your back.
So yeah, I mean, those are little things. Again, great, just absolute great time. Yeah. I'm looking forward to the next 2 weeks. A lot of times Friday Night Lights will end and I'm like,
thank God.
God, I got 2 more weeks of this. Yeah. And it ended this and I was like, I get 2 more weeks of this.
I was looking forward to it. Oh, well, not when I left because I was really tired when I left, but during it was great.
It was awesome. Yeah. Longer time between heats. We got to actually crush ourselves and get to lay on the floor for a little bit.
And we got to hang out.
Got to be hanging out in between. Again, just really cool. If we keep that up, it's going to be an awesome season.
It's gonna be good.
We got some amazing performances. We'll have some people qualify. We'll have our qualifier weekend. It's going to be a great season. Cheers.
See you guys.
Like and subscribe.
Subscribe. Mic check. Mic check. Hope this mic's still on.